Yes. What's going on, world? This is your man, Buddy Rahming, and we are back at it, y'all, with another episode of the Yeah Buddy podcast, y'all. And you know how we do like every episode. I always try to bring some of my friends up here in the entertainment industry. We just sit up here, we talk shop, talk about our journeys, our adventures in the entertainment world to see what we got going on. And this episode is like no other. Well, actually, no, this is a different episode, man, because this is my first time I had like a guy who had a podcast on. I did his podcast a while back. I told him when I got my podcast back up and running, I would definitely love to have him on, talk about his podcast because it's a wonderful platform. He's been a DJ, he's been a show promoter all around Sacramento. Right now, y'all, I want y'all to make it live and make it loud for my good friend, Mr. DJ Lyonhead in the building, y'all.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is DJ Lyonhead. Of course, my podcast is the Superchabray podcast. I am a DJ. It's good to be here, man. Good to be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being on the show. Of course, you had me on your Support Your Boy podcast.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yep.
See you up here, up at the Inner Grove office and stuff like that. How did you actually get find your way up here? Because there wasn't too many like podcasters up here before that, but now that since you've been up here, you've been bringing people here on board, showing people this spot and stuff like that. How did you get find your way here?
So I was also producing a podcast called Laughing at Your Life podcast, comedy podcast, and we had a lot of people on the show. This was before my podcast, but anyway, So on the podcast, we also started bringing in local comedians, and we got to a level where we were able to talk to the one and only Tristan Funny, an all-time great. So he notified me, hey, there's another. We had mentioned that we were looking for a place that's affordable, and he goes, yeah, I know of a place here in Grove. It's affordable, great place, a lot of opportunity. And I was like, let's try that. And we finally took the information and we ran with it. And then when we got here, we saw how great it was. I'm like, man, it's just let them know what's going on.
Yeah. So it's a great spot. How did you get involved? Because you wasn't really doing podcasting before that. I know before you got into, you was doing a DJ and doing a lot of show promoting. How did you go from being wanting to be a DJ, being involved in music, to now jumping in to do it like podcasting?
Okay, as a show promoter, I was putting on shows, and then this is before I was DJing Lyonhead, and as the show promoter, my shows got better and better to the point where a certain DJ, not naming any names, he started off making more money, or more people was coming to the shows. They want to charge more and more. So I was like, man, I'm gonna try to do this myself. So I looked at his equipment, and I just started to go ahead and eBay that to myself, and learn how to use it on YouTube or whatever. You can learn everything on YouTube. So learn how to use what I did, and then next time I did the show, to basically how I got to the Lyonhead is. It was my day where I was going to put the show on and DJ, and my youngest daughter said, hey, Dad, I know you're about to DJ today. Why don't you take my Halloween mask? It was right after Halloween. She goes, let's take my Halloween mask, which is this lion, and use it while you're DJing. And I was like, I'm trying to be a serious DJ. And then she was like, gave me the puppy eyes. And after she did that, I took it over to the show. I didn't wear it at all. And then at the end, somebody was very new at rapping, nobody paid attention to him. They phones was down like this. The crowd was like, they didn't pay attention to him. And I put the mask on, and I started DJing, and then I went over there to him, the guy, and I was like, hey, he's dope, And then people went from this to doing this. Ended up on Instagram the very next day. I saw a post. It wasn't mine. This is my For You page. It had like 998 views, and it was me. But homeboy, had an arm around him. I'm like, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
I got into DJing.
And then so with being like a DJ, being tied into the music scene, because we had talked, I think we talked yesterday or whatever a little bit about like you even like making beats,
Yeah.
being a producer and stuff like that. The overall thing that the graphs that I got from just the general conversations that I've had with you, is that you're just overall just a very supportive person of artists.
That's correct.
And people that are all about expressing themselves.
Yeah. So what I would do a lot before I started doing show promoting, I was going to artists' shows. If I see somebody had a show, and I would go ahead and mention, "Hey man, great job! I saw you up there, bro. I'm having another show next month." And then he goes, "Yeah, my homie's having a show next week," so I go there and I just keep doing that, finding artists, and then mention, tell them I have a show, and then they all locked in with me. Then I have another way we show support is I would make sure they contact other people. So, hey, look, he got a studio, or look, he doing this, he doing that. So it was kind of like a hub for us to kind of build something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think because I'm just gonna go back to like how we were just talking, even like just before.
Yeah.
As much as Sacramento, like, it's like the artists really support the artists.
Yeah.
I feel like, but because it's still like such a competitive based thing that we're doing, because everybody wants to feel like they're the best, be the best.
Yep.
How do you select who you choose to support and who you choose not to support? Is it more like the message that the person is trying to distribute, or like just the person in general?
Their actions. I watch them online, and I see how does what you say in your DM match what I see on your post. Like, what I mean? You're like, hey, you support people. I'm down with all that. But then I never see nobody in your videos, just you. You know what I mean? You never no homies. And if you are, you thought you're sitting with somebody big name, but you ain't got no friends.
Yeah,
I don't know about that one. But somebody who I can tell who have a lot of people, and they really try, and the consistency.
Yeah,
that's one of the main things I look for. If I see an artist being consistent, I don't mess with him.
Yeah. And so, what was the process like with you just going around, like, you making beats? You just made them, and then now you was going out getting artists now being able to make music and stuff like that. Yeah. What is it, like I said, because you being somebody that's always supported, that's almost what the producer is, so you're making something for the artist to now rap on or sing on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Were you ever in front of the mic?
Yes. Yeah. So before I started becoming a DJ, like you mentioned, I made beats. And, before I was even a show promoter, I started off as an artist, and then I kind of like stopped being an artist. I wanted to get in, but I love music, so I wanted to make beats. And then I started learning off a program with samples, and then learned how to do my own. Took myself to CRC, and learned how to do music. Certificate in that, and then started making beats, showing people, and then people who I work with closely with my team. They were like, "You really got something, bro. We can really do something." So we kind of made something together. And as soon as we put something together, we started trying to get shows. And we got some, the ones who fuck with us, we kind of remember them, and make sure when we get a chance, we show them love.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of that's how I became a music producing artist to a music producer to a show, and from that to DJ. Yeah. I do quite a bit of things.
You paying it forward.
Exactly.
Because that's your mentors taught you to be that, So
yeah.
You pay it forward and stuff like that. Nice. So now let's jump forward to podcasting.
Yes.
The podcasting world. How is the podcasting world different from you doing like the working in the music industry? Because your podcast is, you mostly interview artists and stuff like that, but you're still not in the music industry. You get what I'm saying?
You get it. So the way I worked is when I was the pandemic started it all. The pandemic is I started finding out what podcasting was. see my first podcast. I heard them. The first one I heard was Bill Burr's podcast, and then what really did it for me is watching 85 South Show.
Yeah.
85 South Show, see what they were doing and what they were able to talk about. That made me want, damn, I wish I could do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, why me and Shauna J and Michelle from Laugh at Your Life podcast is a comedy podcast. It was from that idea.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the reason why it kind of connects so well when it comes to DJing, because as a DJ, you're out there, make sure everybody's having a good time. I'm basically talking.
Mm-hmm.
So the DJing and talking out, they just hand in hand. And then, of course, when it comes to how I got into podcasting, it mostly started from the 85 South Show, and then wanting to do it and, working at it, getting better and learning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've learned from doing music that you was then able to apply to doing podcasting? So
I started to pipe everything of my podcast equipment through the DJ system.
Mm.
I was like, wait a minute, this thing, how did they get in? Because my biggest concern was, how do you get the audio where it doesn't have the background in it? It just has straight audio.
Yeah.
Online. I didn't know how to do that. So I was just figuring out ways, just going on Googling stuff, how to get what kind of boxes. And I heard about interface. I was like, oh wait, like the ones we have as a producer, if you have a studio at home, you have a computer, keyboard, and your interface connects to your mic, which is the same thing for podcasting. And it just kind of caught on.
Okay, you enjoy podcasting more than you do like beat making?
It's that's a tough one.
It's a different thing though. It's two different.
Yeah.
They're two different things. Like, cause from with me podcasting, and then even doing stand up comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still talking. I can still sit up here and tell jokes and stuff all like that.
Yeah.
But it's still a different world of like, okay, I'm sitting here telling jokes to the audience, whereas this is just, this almost get to the point where it's just barbershop talk. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I would say beat making can kind of relax me and keep me in a cool mood no matter what. Podcasting is a challenge. You know what I'm saying? I know how to make beats. I know what I'm doing when it comes to the beats and sounds and stuff like that. But podcasting is a challenge because you got to look inward. You know what I mean? You ain't just, you know what I'm trying to say though, right?
No, I get exactly what you're trying to say, because that's why I think with comedians doing podcasts is it just comes natural to us, because we're the same thing you're just saying. That's how we get to do it. We just got to be very self-reflective and just like, all right, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah, and it's the honesty that the honesty you can pull out of yourself really shows.
Yeah.
Compared to when you are a rapper, you know what I mean? So a lot of people like to be honest, of course, they be still lying in some of their songs, as you know.
Yeah.
So that comes easy. You know what I mean? It's more harder to be completely real and honest and look into yourself and just, really tell what's really going on.
Yeah.
That takes more skill. That's a challenge.
Yeah. I think it's more difficult from like being an actor.
Yeah.
Trying to it's different if I had like an actor who was a guest on the podcast, as opposed to like the actor hosting the podcast, because we have almost like, and this because I do both or whatever, but like when you approach it like as actors and stuff like that, we kind of have like that this persona that we have to keep, that people have to see us in some certain light, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise we're not this big old movie star in our head that we think we are, we want to be and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard for us to kind of just shed that skin, whereas if we're the person being interviewed or whatever, like, oh yeah, I've got this, I've done that, whereas all right, I got to sit back and listen. Now I got to sit back and listen.
I hear what you're saying, because when it comes to comedians, being honest with yourself is like part of the whole deal. To be able, just that's what you got to respect about.
We can't lie.
Yeah,
we can't lie. I mean, we can steal jokes, but you're stealing jokes from somebody who didn't lie about that joke. Like that's that's their life story. That's what they went through, you know.
And it's really tough for them to. Look at me. It's tough for them to lie about themselves when they try to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's what I do like about comedians. They're more likely to be honest about themselves. Yeah, they may lie to you about something on the outside, but you know themselves when they're on stage.
Yeah,
they more feel like they want to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, we're like this is how it is, and not only we tell the truth about ourselves, but we also tell the truth about like the person in the audience. You know,
exactly.
Because if they're laughing about it, you know, their reaction is like, I feel that way.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, or if they're not laughing about it, like, I feel a certain type of way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's this massive freedom to be able to say, to be able to try to say what you want in the world of a comedian, where people on the outside, you know, we try to hide some of the things. You know, we're like, oh, can't say that.
Yeah.
But a comedian's job is to,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. It's kind of like I said, like with being a rapper, almost like carry like that persona where they're like. At first it was like it was okay to lie about the things that you know, to sell, to make it seem cool or whatever, but then it transitioned like to where like, oh well, if I gotta be about what I'm rapping about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I gotta live this. Now I have to live this life. Whereas like with comedians, like no, we just been like this our whole lives.
Yeah,
we just finally decided to speak up about it, you know.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah. So while we're on the subject of the podcast, let's get into dive deep into your podcast, the Support Your Boy podcast. I'm gonna put the flyer up right here, right now. This is the logo, y'all. So y'all see it on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or wherever he has it. Where can people see the Support Your Boy podcast?
So, I would love to go on to YouTube and please subscribe on YouTube on the Support Your Boy podcast. If you like, hey man, I'll try. Maybe you got some clips or something. I have those on Instagram. That's at support_cha, CHA_ boy, BOI _pod. That's on Instagram. You can get all the clips, some of the funny clips, some of the people being real honest. People giving you, you know, like the insider view about being an artist that you never really talk about it. So, yeah, it's like what you said. Not only that, we have I like to get on our podcast and Support Your Boy. You know, get into the mind of the person. How do they work to do what they do?
Yeah, yeah. No, I remember being a guest on your podcast and stuff like that. You asking some very like I said, not saying personal questions, but definitely questions that would, you know, to get information out of somebody, you know, for the purpose of like,
what's your process?
What's the process like? You know, so for people to learn.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily like, oh, what are you doing to like nitpick at what it is? It's like, no, like I see you're doing something. So let's talk about it. So now go back to like, you know, being supportive. Other people could learn from what it is that you're doing. So now they could learn from your mistakes or learn from your rights.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So when it comes to me asking questions, you have to forgive me. I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But let me get back to that.
Yeah, it's all good. We're talking about that. That was
I'm feeling really good right now. But anyway, so basically what we're talking about is the reason why I ask the questions that I do, because if I wanted to do what you do, what's the process? And let me know what to watch out for and what I should be doing. Because sometimes you may do something like, if I wanted to get into comedy, I want to learn, you know, what's the process of, you know, how that works. You know what I mean? I'm actually taking advice from somebody who actually knows and trying to get the information that most people won't know. That's what we're trying to get through.
And so what are some of the pros and cons that you've experienced now, like from like with podcasting and, you know, spreading that information out? Have people been really like supportive of like the information? They'd be like, hey man, we ain't trying to hear this, or is it like a mixed bag?
Most people are supportive of the podcast because I think some of the artists I work with, they're really supportive of what goes on because um, they see me doing the shit. It's almost like if I was doing shows, they're still almost finding another way to support them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, yeah, you know, I'll put on shows and stuff, but when it comes to see me going into the podcasting world, I always like, you know, I never charge when I was doing shows. I never charged somebody to put them on a flyer. I just do it. You know what I mean? And things of that nature. So when it comes to me going to the podcast and they see me doing that, it helps them.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me, and we're just sharing support. So I'm like, I should might as well support them.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna support me back, and obviously it's been working.
Yeah, because are there a lot of podcasts up here in Sacramento? Is there? Because I'm kind of new into podcasts. I've only been doing this for about a year on and off.
There are a lot of podcasts in Sacramento. Well, that I come to find out, but a lot of them are not connecting with other podcasters.
Yeah.
So they may have a patch of friends, like, hey, I got friends who smoke weed or something, or do something like that, and then the only people who are only doing that they know of, they're only talking. These guys only play basketball, talking about the Kings. They're not looking to talk to somebody who is a comedian. They just want to talk about King stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, so when it comes to other podcasts here in Sacramento, I found out pockets everywhere. Everywhere. So, you know, I'm like, what? This is a podcast? Yeah. And yeah, some of them don't look like the professional ones you see, but you know, they're at a certain stage.
Podcast is a podcast, yeah. People's growing, they're learning, it don't even matter. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying, because like I say, like with all these different podcasts, we got to talk. We got to team up and try to do something to where we get like all these different podcasters.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Just to try to link up. We got to try to we gonna work. We gonna try to figure something like that.
Yeah, we got to work something out with that.
You know. So now with the Support Your Boy podcast, how's that going? How many episodes have you got going on? You had so far?
70 now.
Woo!
70 episodes.
Yeah.
Almost at 100.
Almost at 100, man. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
And how long have you been doing it for?
Since 2022.
Nice.
Yeah, 2022.
How do you keep up with the consistency?
Like I said, before I did this podcast, my podcast, I was the producer of Laughing at Your Life podcast. I mean, I had other kind of podcasts, but the one thing I've noticed in myself where things didn't grow because I wasn't consistent. So when it came to Laughing at Your Life, I just started to be consistent, and I tried to get the girls to make sure they were being consistent. And it took a while. You know, we fall off and start, but when we started getting consistent, we started moving from 200 subscribers on YouTube to now they're at 1,000. So that's because we're being consistent. And you know, the people we were mostly interviewing people we knew like around the way. Yeah. To the point where we finally got a real comedian, and then we started getting all kind of comedians, and Rico the Great.
Shout out to Rico.
And Tristan Funny. So but that all came from being consistent for them to see us. You know what I mean? So I found out that reason why things have worked out is because you're being consistent, and that's why I've been holding on to Support Your Boy. I've been trying to make it work constantly. I think out of the whole 70 episodes, I missed 1 week.
Yeah?
1 week. I was out. But other than that, I just kept going.
Shout out to the consistency, bro. The consistency was gonna get you there. And now, so what I'm gonna do here is this is what we do every show. I think I talked about with you earlier. This is what we call is the Mount Rushmore.
Think right to the mirror.
All right, cool. Yes, y'all. So like y'all know, the Mount Rushmore is a game that we play every episode of the Yeah Buddy podcast. That's basically where our special guest, we have them do their top 4 whatever it is that they specialize at. So for this episode, because we got the Support Your Boy podcast, DJ Lyonhead in the building, we are going to do your Mount Rushmore of podcasts. What podcast motivated you, inspired you to be Support Your Boy podcast?
Okay. Mount Rushmore. We definitely got to start with Bill Burr's Monday Morning Podcast. That's where I just thought podcasts were audio, and then he is he's definitely on the Mount Rushmore. Number 2 would have to be, and I think will be my number 1 podcast when it comes to video. 85 South Show. I'm an 85 percenter, big time. I have seen him in Sacramento. I plan to see him when they go to Oakland and whenever they come to the area. So anyway, number 3, I would have to say, that's going to be a tough one because, that's going to be tough because they kind of going through it right now, but Brilliant Idiots.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that podcast. They got to go up there. How many do I get for the Rushmore?
4.
3. How much?
You got one more.
One more. Ooh. Damn. Man, that's a good one. Oh, it's taking me a minute.
This is where it always gets tricky.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that last one in there.
People always like, man, can I get this 6? The first season I was letting people do. So at one point, both of us had like a whole terrain. It wasn't even a mountain. It was just a terrain of just this. I'm like, no. I got you. So if I was gonna say a 4th one, it would probably
shit. I don't want to say Joe. Joe is not all that to me.
Who, Joe Buddy?
Huh?
Joe?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, I was like, who? Oh,
wait, maybe bump by the podcast now. I would probably say, I Like Your Mom's House, a comedy podcast.
Okay, who hosts that one?
Segura.
Okay.
Segura, he and his wife. Miss Shinsky. I always get her name wrong. Anyway, I like that. I like that podcast a lot. But yeah, I would say that because I have that 4, I'll put them up there.
The one thing I do like you were talking about, like the Joe Buddy podcast. I listen to the Joe Buddy podcast, but one thing I do like, the thing about like the Joe Buddy podcast is whenever, like outside like their hot takes or whatever stuff like that, but like whenever like Joe Buddy goes in and talks about like what's happening in the music industry, as much as like you look at like the guest, like not even the guest, the host, the co-host, stuff like that. They look at it from like a fan's perspective, and they always disagree with what he's saying, but then like down the line, it usually always turns out right. And so I always relate that to like what's ever going on in movies and the movie, just the movie business in general, because what's ever happening to the music industry is the same thing that's happened to the movie industry and stuff like that. So whenever get through all the hot takes and the gossip and all that type of stuff, but whenever they own in and talk about like what's happening the whatever's happening in the entertainment business, like from the business side as it relates to fans watching and stuff like that, like all the stuff that may be going on with like the hot takes was Drake and Kendrick Lamar and stuff all like that. And you look at it, but I'm all like, there has to be something going on, like you look at from the business side of things, for things to be swayed this way, that from the fan base, you're not, it doesn't really need to concern you, but from somebody who is trying to pursue, be in this business in some capacity, you gotta like look at it and be like, oh, this is what's really going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I do take like listen to that, because I say a lot of times when he does as brash or opinion or much of the asshole people DB, but I'm all like, his experience in the entertainment industry made him that.
That's true. That is true. He was with Spotify.
Yeah, and without like when you see somebody as talented as he was, like from the rapper's perspective, but then still understand that none of that mattered.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as talented as was a rapper, none of that matters. So he has this perspective of how the entertainment works from somebody who was inside it, you know.
Yeah.
He's free to speak on it. But he does it in such a code to where, like, if you're somebody like who like you gotta really like hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So that's just what I take away from that. But then I also listen to and you get that a lot. I feel like I get that a lot from like rappers podcasts. Like, I get a lot of that from like you hear a lot of that like from $1 Million Worth of Game.
Yeah.
You hear about that from Drink Champs and stuff all like that, to where like something about like, you know, just like how we talk about like barbershop talk, where they're not afraid to just, because they're like, we already kicked, like we ain't tried to join and get back up into the, you know, this entertainment business, or, you know, be part of that whole circus stuff like that. So it's just that barbershop talk where you just hear them talk about like what the business is like, and like speaking at it from an artist perspective. I'm all like, oh, I can see why, you know, like when somebody like falls off, you're like, man, why that motherfucker, he was so talented, so how he I'm like, oh, business. Yeah. Something on the business side went wrong. So that's why even now, like with the way I move, like when you see like this tablet right here and stuff all like this, I mean, not trying to like rude, but like, you know, the whole funny business thing, you know what I'm saying? Like business didn't, but business blew up, you know what I'm saying? But like, but I took all the funny business. This is funny business now. You know? I don't got to worry about that drama. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like I say, learning from what he thought about, like I said, like everything is being like all these record label companies, stuff like that. If they found out that a machine could do the work that people could do, I'm gonna have a machine do it. Right. And I'm all like, hey, well, you know what? Exactly. I got the care. I got the machine that could do it.
Exactly. So yeah, I agree. I mean, the fact that you can compound, what's the word?
Compound or something like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say, but you know,
that C word.
Yeah. The fact that you can get it all together.
Compress,
yeah. Maybe that's what I meant.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those C words.
Yeah. So the fact that you can do that, and you don't have to you got to wait on this person to do this and that person to do that. I know it's the way of the world now. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Yeah. But that's just my little hot take on that. But anyways, also you got any events or anything like coming up before we wrap up this episode?
Let's see here. I have a guest that some people may have known him, some people may not. This Sunday, I will have the Street Beef famous guy, Death Sentence, on my podcast. We'll be streaming it live on Instagram. So if you can head over to support_cha, CHA _ boy, BOI _pod on Instagram. You can follow me there, and then we're going to probably around 8 o'clock. We will be going live and talking about his next Street Beef fight. If you ever seen Street Beef, you know who Death Sentence is. You know what's up.
Okay, for sure. And so, like, just in case if maybe this episode doesn't air by tomorrow, or people miss the Instagram live, is there somewhere where they can catch the episode after it airs?
Yeah, you can go on to YouTube. All the full episodes are on YouTube. I would really appreciate you guys subscribing to that. You'll find the episode. You'll find the Buddy Rahming's episode on YouTube. The full things of what he said.
Yeah, go up there, get those views up, man. You got some pretty good gems in that interview too and stuff like that. So,
and you really did. You gave some really good gems. I'm like, man, we need to hear this, man.
See, I'm gonna put your logo up one more time so the people watching it can see. And like I said, for people who are listening and stuff like that, it's the support_cha, CHA _ BOI
podcast or pod.
Yep. So yeah, support your boy. Everybody here watching it, that's the logo right there. So look that up and go do like the logo says, and support your boy. Yeah, the show. So we're gonna wrap up this here episode, y'all. We're gonna close it out right here on this camera right here, y'all. My name's been Buddy Rahming, host of the Yeah Buddy podcast. My man DJ Lyonhead, you dig? Support Your Boy podcast. Check it out.
Yep.
And while you support Your Boy podcast, support Yeah Buddy podcast while you at it.
Hey, you do that.
Follow me on Instagram at YeahBuddyENT. And that's the same with all the social medias. And go to my website too if you all want to catch up on all your favorite episodes of the Yeah Buddy podcast.
Yeah,
Buddy. With the Funny Buddhist podcast and sketches and a whole bunch of stand-up clips. We got it all there at www.yeahbuddyent.com. I'll catch y'all on the next episode, y'all, man. Peace.